You know, some moments in history are more than just dates on a calendar. They're real turning points. The story leading up to Badr isn't just about a battle. It's really about a journey, a series of critical choices, and an unavoidable clash between justice and pride. So let's dive into how it all unfolded.
So here's the big question we're going to tackle. It's a story that kicks off with a community simply trying to get what was stolen from them, and it ends with them facing an army almost 3 times their size. How on earth did things escalate so dramatically?
To really get what happened on the road to Badr, we have to rewind a bit. We need to look at the events that set this whole thing in motion in the first place. Okay, I want you to just try and imagine this for a second. You're forced to leave your home, your business, literally everything you own, all because of what you believe. This was the harsh reality for the early Muslims who made the migration from Makkah to Medina. They left everything behind, and their property, their livelihoods, were just taken by the leaders of Makkah, the Quraish. This group of people, they have a specific name, the Muhajirun, which means the emigrants. And it's so important to get this right. This wasn't some political squabble. We're talking about a deep, personal, and financial injustice. The entire wealth of a community had been wrongfully confiscated. So you have this simmering tension, this real injustice, and it all comes to a head because of one thing: a single massive trading caravan. Word gets to Medina that a huge Quraysh caravan, loaded to the brim with goods, is making its way back from Syria. And listen, this wasn't just any caravan. It was carrying the wealth of the very same people who had kicked the Muhajirun out and taken their property. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions decided to act. But, and this is absolutely key, we have to be super clear about their goal. The sources are plain. They had no intention of starting a war. The plan was very specific: intercept this one caravan and recover a portion of what was rightfully theirs. It was meant to be an act of reclamation, plain and simple. And you know what's fascinating? The journey to Badr tells us so much about the character of this small community way before any confrontation ever happened. All right, first off, just look at the numbers. The Muslim force was tiny, just a little over 300 men. Let's be real, this was hardly an invading army setting out for a major war. And get this, their equipment, or really their lack of it, they had only 2 horses. In that time, cavalry was everything. It was a massive military advantage, and they basically had none. And on top of that, only 70 camels for over 300 people. Think about that. That means most of them are walking for a long, long way through the desert, sharing what little they had. And throughout this journey, we see these incredible principles in action. For instance, any young boys who had tagged along, they were gently sent back to Medina to be kept out of harm's way. At one point, a skilled warrior who wasn't a Muslim offered to join them, but just for the spoils. He was turned away. The messenger of God, peace be upon him, said he wouldn't seek help from a polytheist, showing that how they did things mattered just as much as what they were doing. And this idea of sharing the hardship, it went all the way to the top. When it was the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, turn to walk, his companions begged him to ride, but he refused, saying these words. He insisted on taking his turn walking just like everyone else. I mean, that's leadership through example. Okay, so let's switch perspectives. The leader of that caravan, Abu Sufyaan, he was no fool. He was smart, he was cautious, and he had a pretty good idea someone was watching him. The second he sensed danger, Abu Sufyaan made a move. No hesitation. He immediately broke from the main path, took a different route along the coast, and totally slipped past the Muslims. The caravan, the wealth, it was now safe. But here's the thing. Before he knew for sure that the caravan was safe, he had already sent an emergency rider, a guy named Damdam, racing to Mecca. And Damdam didn't just show up. He made a scene. He rode in, tore his shirt, wailed, anything to get an immediate, powerful reaction from the Quraysh. And boy, did it work. And this is where everything changes. It's the moment of truth, the point of no return, where a choice is made that locks them all into this confrontation. So, once the caravan is secure, Abu Sufyaan, being the practical guy he is, sends another message to the army that's now marching out from Mecca. And the message is basically just common sense. Hey guys, the goods are safe, we won, go home. He saw zero reason for a fight. This slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have Abu Sufyaan's logic. The mission's over, return to base. But then you look at the other side, at the decision from the leaders of Quraysh. For them, it wasn't about the money anymore. It was about pride. It was about their status. They felt they'd been challenged, and they were determined to teach them a lesson.
Now, to be fair, not everyone in the Quraysh army was on board with this. Some actually did turn around and go home. But the powerful leaders, the ones calling the shots, they were having none of it. They pushed ahead, marching their huge, well-equipped army of about 1,000 men straight towards Badr.
So you see how everything has just been completely flipped on its head? The original mission to reclaim property, it's not even on the table anymore. What started as a small, poorly equipped group setting out for a matter of principle was now on a collision course with a massive army marching for one reason and one reason only: its own pride.
And that just sets the stage for everything that's about to happen. It leaves us with this really big question to think about. When a fight moves beyond its original cause and just becomes a test of will, what are the principles that you hold on to? What's truly worth defending?